4Q 17 Exodus Leviticus F. Language, Hebrew. Date, 250 to 200 BC. Location, Qumran Cave 4. Exodus 38. 18 The screen for the gate of the court was the work of the embroiderer, of blue, purple, scarlet, and fine twined linen. 20 cubits was the length, and the height in the width was 5 cubits, like to the hangings of the court. 19 Their pillars were 4, and their sockets 4, of brass, their hooks of silver, and the overlaying of their capitals, and their fillets, of silver. 20 All the pins of the tabernacle, and around the court, were of brass. 21 This is the amount of material used for the tabernacle, even the tabernacle of the testimony, as they were counted, according to the commandment of Moses, for the service of the Levites, by the hand of Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest. 22 Bezalel the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that Yahweh commanded Moses. Exodus 39. 3 They beat the gold into thin plates, and cut it into wires, to work it in with the blue, the purple, the scarlet, and the fine linen, the work of the skillful workman. For they made shoulder straps for it, joined together. At the two ends it was joined together. 5 The skillfully woven band that was on it, with which to fasten it on, was of the same piece, like its work, of gold, of blue, purple, scarlet, and fine twined linen, as Yahweh commanded Moses. 6 They worked the onyx stones, enclosed in settings of gold, engraved with the engravings of a signet, according to the names of the children of Israel. 7 He put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod, to be stones of memorial for the children of Israel, as Yahweh commanded Moses. 8 He made the breastplate, the work of a skillful workman, like the work of the ephod, of gold, of blue, purple, scarlet, and fine twined linen. 9 It was square. They made the breastplate double. Its length was a span, and its width a span, being double. 10 They set in it 4 rows of stones. A row of ruby, topaz, and beryl was the first row, 11 and the second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, and an emerald. 13 and the fourth row, a chrysolite, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in gold settings. 14 The stones were according to the names of the children of Israel, 12, according to their names, like the engravings of a signet, everyone according to his name, for the 12 tribes. 15 They made on the breastplate chains like cords, of braided work of pure gold. 17 They put the 2 braided chains of gold in the 2 rings at the ends of the breastplate. 18 The other 2 ends of the 2 braided chains they put on the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder straps of the ephod, in its front. 19 They made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate, on its edge, which was toward the side of the ephod inward. 20 They made 2 more rings of gold, and put them on the 2 shoulder straps of the ephod underneath, in its front, close by its coupling, above the skillfully woven band of the ephod. 21 They bound the breastplate by its rings to the rings of the ephod as Yahweh had commanded Moses, with a lace of blue, that it might be on the skillfully woven band on the inside of the ephod, and that the breastplate might not come loose from the ephod, as Yahweh commanded Moses, and he made the Urim and the Thummim as Yahweh had commanded Moses. 22 He made the robe of the ephod of woven work, all of blue. 23 The opening of the robe in the middle of it was like the opening of a coat of mail, with a binding around its opening, that it should not be torn. 24 They made on the skirts of the robe pomegranates of blue, purple, scarlet, and twined linen. Exodus 40. 7 You shall set the basin between the tent of meeting and the altar, and shall put water therein. 8 You shall set up the court around it, and hang up the screen of the gate of the court. 9 You shall take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle, and all that is in it, and shall make it holy, and all its furniture, and it will be holy. 10 You shall anoint the altar of burnt offering, with all its vessels, and sanctify the altar, and the altar will be most holy. 11 You shall anoint the basin and its base, and sanctify it. 12 You shall bring Aaron and his sons, 1, to the door of the tent of meeting, and shall wash them with water. 13 You shall put on Aaron the holy garments, and you shall anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister to me in the priest's office. 14 You shall bring his sons, and put the coats on them. 15 You shall anoint them, as you anointed their father, that they may minister to me in the priest's office. Their anointing shall be to them for an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. 16 Moses did so, according to all that Yahweh commanded them. 17 In the first month in the second year after the departure from Egypt, on the first day of the month, the tabernacle was raised up. 18 He raised up its sockets, and set up its hooks and its boards, and its bars were put in, and raised up its pillars. 19 The covering over the tent was put in, and he put the roof of the tabernacle above on it, as Yahweh commanded Moses. 20 He took the testimony and it was put into the ark, and set the poles on the ark, and the mercy seat was put on the ark. 21 He brought the ark and set up the veil of the screen, and screened the ark of the testimony, as Yahweh commanded Moses. 22 The table was put into the tent of meeting, on the side of the tabernacle northward, outside of the veil. 23 He set the bread in order on it before Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Moses. 24 He put the lampstand in the tent of meeting, opposite the table, on the side of the tabernacle southward. 25 He lit the lamps before Yahweh, as Yahweh commanded Moses. 26 He put the golden altar in the tent of meeting before the veil. 27 And he burned incense of sweet spices on it before him, as Yahweh commanded Moses. 1. The word order in the scroll is different from the MT, 4Q18 Exodus G, language, Hebrew. Date, 75 to 50 BC Location, Qumran Cave 4. Exodus 14. 21 Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and Yahweh caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. 22 The children of Israel went into the middle of the sea on the dry ground, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand, and on their left. 23 The Egyptians pursued, and went in after them into the middle of the sea, all of Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. 24 In the morning watch, Yahweh looked out on the Egyptian army through the pillar of fire and people, 1, and confused the Egyptian army. 25 He took off their chariot wheels, and they drove them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let's flee from the face of Israel, for Yahweh fights for them against the Egyptians. 26 Yahweh said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come again on the Egyptians, on their chariots, and on their horsemen. 27 Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. Yahweh overthrew the Egyptians in the middle of the sea. 1. The scroll reading of people here does not appear to make sense, though some of the nearby text, which is missing, might have made it clearer if it differed from the traditional text. There is a two-letter difference in Hebrew between the words for cloud and people, and the letters looked alike in the Paleo-Hebrew script. 4Q19 Exodus H, language, Hebrew. Date, 50 to 25 BC Location, Qumran Cave 4. Exodus 6. 3 And I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, as God Almighty, but by my name Yahweh I was not known to them. For I have also established my covenant with them, to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their travels, in which they lived as aliens. 5 Moreover I have heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. 6 Therefore tell the children of Israel, I am Yahweh, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm, and with great judgments. 4Q20 Exodus J, language, Hebrew. Date, 30 BC, 68 AD. Location, Qumran Cave 4. Exodus 8. 3 And the river shall swarm with frogs, which shall go up and come into your house, and into your bedroom, and on your bed, and into the house of all your servants, and on your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs. 4 And the frogs shall come up both on you, and on your people, and on all your servants. 5 Yahweh, 1, said to Moses, Tell Aaron, Stretch out your hand with your rod over the rivers, over the streams, and over the pools, and cause frogs to come up on the land of Egypt. And Moses said to Aaron, "Stretch out your hand." 1. The name Yahweh is written in the Paleo-Hebrew script, unlike the rest of the scroll, which is in the usual later Hebrew script. For Q21 Exodus K language, Hebrew. Date, 30 to 68 AD. Location, Qumran Cave 4. Exodus 36. 9. The length of each curtain was 28 cubits, and the width of each curtain 4 cubits. All the curtains had one measure. 10. He coupled 5 curtains to one another, and the other 5 curtains he coupled to one another. For Q22 Paleo-Exodus M language, Hebrew in the Paleo-Hebrew script. Date, 100 to 25 BC. Location, Qumran Cave 4. Exodus 6. 25. Eleazar Aaron's son took one of the daughters of Putiel as his wife, and she bore him Phinehas. These are the heads of the fathers' houses of the Levites according to their families. 26. These are that Aaron and Moses to whom Yahweh said, "Bring out the children of Israel from the land of Egypt according to their armies." 27. These are those who spoke to Pharaoh king of Egypt, to bring out the children of Israel from Egypt. These are that Moses and Aaron. 28. On the day when Yahweh spoke to Moses in the land of Egypt, 29. Yahweh said to Moses, "I am Yahweh. Tell Pharaoh king of Egypt all that I tell you." 30. Moses said before Yahweh, "Behold, I am of uncircumcised lips, and how shall Pharaoh listen to me?" Exodus 7. 1. Yahweh said to Moses, "Behold, I have made you as God to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. 2. You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall speak to Pharaoh, that he let the children of Israel go out of his land. 3. I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. 4. But Pharaoh will not listen to you, so I will lay my hand on Egypt, and bring out my armies, my people the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. 5. The Egyptians shall know that I am Yahweh when I stretch out my hand on Egypt, and bring the children of Israel out from among them." 6. Moses and Aaron did so. As Yahweh commanded them, so they did. 7. Moses was 80 years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spoke to Pharaoh. 8. Yahweh spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, 9. When Pharaoh speaks to you, saying, "Perform a miracle," then you shall tell Aaron, "Take your rod, and cast it down before Pharaoh, and it will become a serpent." 10. Moses and Aaron went in to Pharaoh, and they did so, as Yahweh had commanded. Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. 11. Then Pharaoh also called for the wise men and the sorcerers. They also, the magicians of Egypt, did the same thing with their enchantments. 12. For they each cast down their rods, and they became serpents, but Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. 13. Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he didn't listen to them, as Yahweh had spoken. 14. Yahweh spoke, 1. To Moses, Pharaoh's heart is stubborn. He refuses to let the people go. 15. Go to Pharaoh in the morning. And behold, he himself, too, is going out to the water. You shall stand by the river's bank to meet him. You shall take the rod which was turned to a serpent in your hand. 16. You shall tell him, Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, has sent me to you, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. Behold, until now you haven't listened. 17. Yahweh says, In this you shall know that I am Yahweh. Behold, I will strike with the rod that is in my hand on the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. 18. The fish that are in the midst of the river will die and the river will become foul. The Egyptians will loathe to drink water from the river. And Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to him, Yahweh, God of the Hebrews sent us to you, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, you have not listened until now. Yahweh says, By this you shall know that I am Yahweh. Behold, I am striking the water which is in the Nile with the rod that is in my hand, and it will be turned to blood, and the fish that are in the midst of the Nile will die. The river will stink and the Egyptians will be weary of drinking water from the Nile. 3:19 Yahweh said to Moses, Tell Aaron, Take your rod, and stretch out your hand over the waters of Egypt, over their rivers, over their streams, and over their pools, and over all their ponds of water, that they may become blood. There will be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. Exodus 8:3 The river will swarm with frogs, which will go up and come into your house, and into your bedroom, and on your bed, and into the house of your servants, and on your people, and into your ovens, and into your kneading troughs. For the frogs shall come up both on you, and on your people, and on all your servants. 5 Yahweh said to Moses, Tell Aaron, Stretch out your hand with your rod over the rivers, over the streams, and over the pools, and cause frogs to come up on the land of Egypt. 16 Yahweh said to Moses, Tell Aaron, Stretch out your rod, and strike the dust of the earth, that it may become lice throughout all the land of Egypt. 17 They did so, and Aaron stretched out his hand with his rod, and struck the dust of the earth, and there were lice on man, and on animal, all the dust of the earth became lice throughout all the land of Egypt. 18 The magicians tried with their enchantments to produce lice, but they couldn't. There were lice on man, and on animal. 19 Then the magician said to Pharaoh, This is God's finger, but Pharaoh's heart was hardened, and he didn't listen to them, as Yahweh had spoken. 20 Yahweh said to Moses, saying, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh. Behold, he comes out to the water, and tell him, This is what Yahweh says, Let my people go, that they may serve me. 21 Else, if you will not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies on you, and on your servants, and on your people, and into your houses. The houses of the Egyptians shall be full of swarms of flies, and also the ground they are on. 22 I will set apart in that day the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, that no swarms of flies shall be there, to the end you may know that I am Yahweh on the earth. 23 And Moses and Aaron entered before Pharaoh and said to him, Yahweh says, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you do not let my people go, behold, I will send swarms of flies on you and on your servants and on your people and on your houses, and the houses of Egypt will be filled with swarms of flies, and also he land where they are. And on that day I will set apart the land of Goshen where my people dwell, that there will not be swarms of flies, in order that you may know that I am Yahweh in the midst of the land, for I will put a division between my people and your people. This sign shall happen by tomorrow. 24 Yahweh did so, and there came grievous swarms of flies into the house of Pharaoh, and into his servants' houses. In all the land of Egypt the land was corrupted by reason of the swarms of flies. 25 Pharaoh called for Moses and for Aaron, and said, Go, sacrifice to your God in the land. 26 Moses said, It isn't appropriate to do so, for we shall sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians to Yahweh our God. Behold, if we sacrifice the abomination of the Egyptians before their eyes, won't they stone us? 27 We will go 3 days' journey into the wilderness, and sacrifice to Yahweh our God, as he shall command us. Exodus 9:5 Yahweh appointed a set time, saying, Tomorrow Yahweh shall do this thing in the land. And Moses and Aaron entered before Pharaoh and said to him, Yahweh, God of the Hebrews says, Let my people go that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let my people go, and still hold on to them, behold, the hand of Yahweh will be on your livestock which is in the field, on the horses and the donkeys and the camels, on cattle and sheep, a very serious matter. And Yahweh will distinguish between the livestock of Israel and the livestock of Egypt, and nothing will die from all that belongs to the children of Israel. Tomorrow Yahweh will do this thing in the land. 5:6 Yahweh did that thing on the next day, and all the livestock of Egypt died, but of the livestock of the children of Israel, not one died. 7 Pharaoh sent, and, behold, there was not so much as one of the livestock of the Israelites dead. But the heart of Pharaoh was stubborn, and he didn't let the people go. 8 Yahweh said to Moses and to Aaron, saying, Take handfuls of ashes of the furnace, and let Moses sprinkle it toward the sky in the sight of Pharaoh. 9 It shall become small dust over the land of Egypt, and shall be a boils and blisters breaking out on man and on animal, throughout all the land of Egypt. 10 They took ashes of the furnace, and stood before Pharaoh, and Moses sprinkled it up toward the sky, and it became boils and blisters breaking on man and on animal. 11 The magicians couldn't stand before Moses because of the boils, for the boils were on the magicians and on all the Egyptians. 12 Yahweh hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he didn't listen to them, as Yahweh had spoken to Moses. 13 Yahweh said to Moses, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and tell him, This is what Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, says, Let my people go, that they may serve me. 14 For this time I will send all my plagues against your heart, against your officials, and against your people, that you may know that there is no one like me in all the earth. 16 But indeed for this cause I have made you stand, to show you my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth. 19 Now therefore command that all of your livestock and all that you have in the field be brought into shelter. The hail will come down on every man and animal that is found in the field, and isn't brought home, and they will die. And Moses and Aaron entered before Pharaoh and said to him, Yahweh, God of the Hebrews, says, Let my people go that they may serve me. For this time I will send all my plagues on your heart, and upon your servants and upon your people, that you may know that there is none like me in all the earth. For now I have sent forth my hand to strike you and your people with a plague and cut you off from the land. But indeed, for this reason I have allowed you to stand, to show you my power and to declare my name throughout the earth. Yet you still exalt yourself against my people by not letting them go. Behold, tomorrow at about this time I will cause very heavy hail to fall, such as has not been in Egypt since the day it was founded even until now. Now therefore send, gather your cattle and all that you have in the field, every man and animal that is found in the field and that is not brought home, the hail will come down on them and they will die. 6. 20 Those who feared Yahweh's word among the servants of Pharaoh made their servants and their livestock flee into the houses. 21 Whoever didn't respect Yahweh's word left his servants and his livestock in the field. 35 The heart of Pharaoh was hardened, and he didn't let the children of Israel go, just as Yahweh had spoken through Moses. Exodus 10. 1 Yahweh said to Moses, Go into Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that I may show these my signs among them. 2 And that you may tell in the hearing of your son, and of your son's son, what things I have done to Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that you may know that I am Yahweh. And you shall say to Pharaoh, Yahweh, God of the Hebrews, says, How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts to your country, and they will cover the face of the earth, so that one will not be able to see the earth. And they will eat the remnant which escaped, which remains to you from the hail, and will eat every tree which grows for you out of the field. And your houses will be filled, and the houses of all your servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, as neither your fathers nor your grandfathers have seen, from the day that they were upon the earth until this day. 7. 3 Moses and Aaron went in to Pharaoh, and said to him, This is what Yahweh, the God of the Hebrews, says, How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. For or else, if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your country. 5 And they shall cover the surface of the earth, so that one won't be able to see the earth. They shall eat the residue of that which has escaped, which remains to you from the hail, and shall eat every herb of the land and every fruit of the 8 tree which grows for you out of the field. 6 Your houses shall be filled, and the houses of all your servants, and the houses of all the Egyptians, as neither your fathers nor your fathers' fathers have seen, since the day that they were on the earth to this day. He turned, and went out from Pharaoh. 7 Pharaoh's servants said to him, How long will this man be a snare to us? Let the men go, that they may serve Yahweh, their God. Don't you yet know that Egypt is destroyed? 8 Moses and Aaron were brought again to Pharaoh, and he said to them, Go, serve Yahweh your God, but who are those who will go? 9 Moses said, We will go with our young and with our old. We will go with our sons and with our daughters, with our flocks and with our herds, for we must hold a feast to Yahweh. 10 He said to them, Yahweh be with you if I let you go with your little ones. See, evil is clearly before your faces. 11 Not so. Go now you who are men, and serve Yahweh, for that is what you desire. Then they were driven out from Pharaoh's presence. 12 Yahweh said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up on the land of Egypt, and eat every herb of the land, even all that the hail has left. 19 Yahweh turned an exceedingly strong west wind, which took up the locusts, and drove them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the borders of Egypt. 20 But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he didn't let the children of Israel go. 21 Yahweh spoke to Moses, Stretch out your hand toward the sky, that there may be darkness over the land of Egypt. 22 Moses stretched out his hand toward the sky, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. 23 They didn't see one another, and nobody rose from his place for 3 days, but all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. 24 Pharaoh called to Moses and to Aaron, 9, and said, Go, serve Yahweh. Only let your flocks and your herds stay behind. Let your little ones also go with you. 25 Moses said, You must also give into our hand sacrifices and burnt offerings, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our God. 26 Our livestock also shall go with us. Not a hoof shall be left behind, for of it we must take to serve Yahweh our God, and we don't know with what we must serve Yahweh, until we come there. 27 But Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he wouldn't let them go. 28 Pharaoh said to him, Get away from me. Be careful to see my face no more, for in the day you see my face you shall die. Exodus 11. 8 All these servants of yours will come down to me, and bow down themselves to me, saying, Get out, with all the people who follow you, and after that I will go out. He went out from Pharaoh in hot anger. 9 Yahweh said to Moses, Pharaoh won't listen to you, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. 10 Moses and Aaron did all these wonders before Pharaoh, but Yahweh hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he didn't let the children of Israel go out of his land.